This thing is quickly becoming one of my favorite radios. I got the DE19 for it. Fantastic way to connect this thing to FT8. Much better than the CE19. If you already have a CE19, you can probably do a lot of the same stuff with it. So the DE19 is better than the CE19. I've never seen a BE19 or an AE19 in the wild. I have no idea what they would look like, but could you imagine how bad they are after seeing these two? This DE19, good stuff. This is our G106 complete radio station right here. We have our K6ARK portable Morse code paddle, the Zygo G106, and the LDG Z100 Plus auto tuner. We're currently on 10 meters. Let's see what happens when we hit the tune button. So it doesn't auto sense. It's not connected physically, but we can still do it manually. And there we go, we're in tune. Additionally, we have this new dingus here. This is the Zygo DE19. And you can see it has connectivity for CIV. They stole that right off of ICOM. It's cat control. PA for amplifier and accessory. This is the 8-pin connection that goes to the back of the radio to the 8-pin connector port. The CIV goes to the back of the radio on the COM port. And then the Morse code key goes into the key port on the back of the radio. And then from there is a USB connection which goes over to the computer. I'm rocking the Evolve 3 Maestro laptop today, and the USB connection. We are good to go. All of this can run off of a 12-volt power supply or a 12-volt battery. We're over on the desktop here, and we're going to start sharing out the screen and working through how to get this thing set up on Linux. It's very similar on Linux, and it's very similar on Windows, and it's very similar on Raspberry Pi, which is also Linux. If you can install WSJT-X and get it configured to run your radio and your sound card, you can extrapolate this information to any other digital radio app that you might want to install, because it's almost all the same kind of stuff. The information you're going to learn here today is going to be transferable to a variety of radios and a variety of software. So let's get over to the desktop and start working. This is Ubuntu. Which version is this? Let's find out. All right, this is Ubuntu 22.04. So this is the latest version of Ubuntu as of the making of this video. We've got a couple of things that we need to do in order to take care of this. The first thing we need to do is figure out where our serial port is. I've already got mine plugged in. So I'm going to do a little trick here. Dmessage sudo dmessage -w. -w is going to say, continue to show me all the new things that show up at the end. Dmessage shows you the kernel messages as they come in. Let me enter in my user password. Escalate my privileges so I can see it. All right, so you see what's on the screen right now. I'm going to unplug the USB port. And then we disconnected a whole bunch of stuff. As I plug it back in, we can see that it says CH341 UART converter now attached to TTY USB 0. So I know that the port that I want to use is USB 0. Keep a note of that for future use. This is how you'll find out which port your radio is connected to inside of your computer. If you're in Windows, do the exact same thing in Device Manager. This is one of two places where the Linux install is going to be different than the Windows install. Outside of that, all the settings you're going to see in here are also going to apply to your Windows machine. Inside of Device Manager on Windows, plug the USB port into the computer. You'll see it pop up under ports. Unplug it, you'll see it disappear from under ports. There you go. Make a note of that COM port number, and that's the one that we're going to need later. So I'm going to press Control-C to stop the dmessage from running the messages on my screen. So I have my command prompt back. I'm going to type in clear to get the screen cleared. And then I guess the first thing we're going to need to do is install WSJT-X. On Windows, you would go to the website and download the installer. There'll be a link for that in the description down below, but I don't need to download the installer because Linux has it built in, kinda. So the first thing we're going to do is update our package repository database, sudo apt update. Now we do sudo apt install WSJT-X. And you won't need to write any of these commands down. I will leave them in the description down below for you. All you need to do is follow along, kind of get a feel for how it goes, and then the instructions will be written in the description for you. Sudo apt install WSJT-X. We're telling the package repository system to find the WSJT-X package and install it, and also install all of the dependencies needed to get it to run. And look, there's a lot of dependencies over there. If you are running this on Linux Mint, which is very popular on these Evolve 3 laptops, you'll need to also uninstall the brltty or configure the brltty to play nice with the DE19 device that we're using to get the radio onto the computer. So you do sudo apt remove brltty -y to remove it, and -y would say yes to the question, do you want to remove it? You don't need to do that on the Evolve 3 laptop unless you're running Mint. And since I'm not running Mint, I don't need to do that. I don't think you need to do this next step on a Raspberry Pi, but you do need to do this on this Evolve 3 Maestro laptop. And that is add yourself to the dialout users group. So let's take a look at where that serial port showed up and who has permissions to it. ls for list stuff, -al for all the things, including links. And I want to do /dev/tty star. And you can see that this last one here is that serial port we were talking about, /dev/tty USB 0. And you can see that root has permissions to it, and this dialout group has permissions to it. And I am neither root nor am I in the dialout group on this machine. So I need to add myself to that group. So sudo usermod -a for add, g for group, dialout for the name of the group I want to add myself to. And then you can type in your username. If you're not sure what your username is, Linux has got you covered. You can do $user bracket, and that will use the environment variable user in place of that variable. And now I'm in the dialout group. But I'm not actively in the dialogue group. I'm in the dialogue group for the next time I log in. So we need to log out. Now we need to log in again. Okay, so now we have WSJT-X installed. We have ourselves in the group. We've logged out. We've logged in again. Let's start WSJT-X. On this machine, it came in under multimedia, WSJT-X. You might find this under internet. You might find it under sound and video. Take a look around for it if it's not obvious. In this case, there's not a whole lot of places for it to be, so it didn't take me long to find it. It pops up with this friendly box telling us all about it. I don't want to see this again. So I click that, and it's never going to show up again. And it looks like it's running. But it looks like it's running because it's not actually doing anything. So the first thing I want to do is move this down to the side of the screen where I like it. And then you can see that this waterfall only goes out to about 1200. So I'm going to change the bins per pixel to bins per pixel, whatever number gets me a little bit more than 3000. So 5 gets me 3000 even. That's a good place to be. Or 6. Pick whichever one you like. We'll stick with 5 for now. And then I'm going to shrink this down so it fits under the WSJT-X window, like so. And then I'm going to move my WSJT-X window over to the side to match. Next up, I'm going to change my mode to FT8. And now I still have nothing coming in on the waterfall, and I appear to have fantastic cat control. I got a green light here, but that's because I haven't configured any radio. Let's go take care of that. File, Settings. On the General tab, you're going to want to put in your call sign. Mine is KM9G. You're going to want to put in your grid square. Mine is EN35. This is my favorite grid square locator, calculator, finder website. Type in an address. I'm going to type in Luck, Wisconsin, which is where I am. And it tells me my grid square is EN35SN. I just need to have these first 4 here for WSJT-X to be happy. And I am inside of my grid square. Look at these checkboxes here and figure out which ones you want to check. If you hover over the words, it'll give you some information, which might not mean a whole lot, but feel free to experiment with these things. You can't really hurt much. And if you do, you can turn it back off and get back to playing around with your radio, because that's what amateur radio is all about, is having fun and playing around. These are the checkboxes that I check. Pause the screen here if you want to check along with me. We're going to go out of order. We're going to go straight to the audio tab, because if we go to the radio tab first and then we try to test our settings, it's going to complain we don't have audio settings. So let's take care of that. On the audio side, input drops down, and it's this C Media Electronics Inc. USB audio device. And you want the one that says input on it on your input side. And then on the output side, you want the output for C Media Electronics USB audio device. So now we can go to our radio tab and not get yelled at. On the radio tab, we're going to pick a rig of ICOM IC7000. The radio is compatible mostly with the ICOM 7000 cat control standard, so we're going to use that standard. From earlier, when we ran the dmessage command, we learned that our serial port was TTY USB 0. The speed is 19200. All the rest of this stuff gets left at default. We're going to change our PTT method to cat mode. Doesn't make any difference because the radio doesn't understand the mode change command. Change your split operation. I change it to fake it. Then software will use cat controls to move the VFO around as necessary in order to get everything working. So now we can hit test cat, and it turns green because we have good cat control of our radio. Next up, we need to test PTT. That one should turn red. You should hear the radio click. We've now tested our PTT. Under reporting, we need to come down here and say enable PSK reporting, and you can choose to use a TCP/IP connection or not. If you use TCP/IP, your data will be sent up and it will be verified that it is received. And if you do not use it, you'll use something called UDP instead, and the data will just be sent, and who cares whether it's received or not. Your choice. I'm going to choose TCP/IP. One last thing I want to check in my WSJT-X setup is this prompt me to log QSO box. I like having it pop up so I can add some notes to a QSO if I want to. And we're going to hit OK. And let's change this to 20 meters. If you look at your radio screen, it should now be on the 14074 frequency for 20 meter FT8. We've got to take care of this red bar here. On normal radios, you would take care of this through internal volume settings or through RF gain. But the Zygo G106 is not a normal radio. You can see we're getting some decodes here, but basically when this is red, the radio is shouting at the computer and the computer's covering its ears in pain and can't hear half of the stuff that's coming in. So in order to fix that, we need to work on our sound card settings. So we click our sound card settings and we click audio mixer. And when this pops up, we want to go to the recording tab. And as I move this down, you'll see that red slider start to change colors to green. Now we're not shouting as loudly, but I think 80 is too high. If you hover over this, it will actually tell you where it wants to be. 30 dB recommended when only noise is present. Green when good, red when clipping may occur, yellow when too low. So technically at 80%, we are green and we're getting the most amount of signals. This is something you need to get a feel for with your radio. And the only way to do this is to start playing and make some contacts and see what happens. And you can look at PSK Reporter to see what the map is of the stations that you're hearing. But you have to kind of know what good sounds look like and what bad sounds look like. So play with this, change these settings around. I personally think 80 is too high. I'm going to try and get it around 70. There we go. Now we're around 70. Not bad at all. And you can see we've got more signals in the waterfall than we had before. We're starting to make some decodes. Excellent. This radio will not understand a cat control to put it into U-D mode. So you have to make sure you check that. And it might not survive after a power down or change system configuration or something. So always check that if you're not getting heard. This is how you do that. On the front of the radio, you press the mode button until it says U-D. Pretty straightforward. There are no filters to turn off. There's no notch filter. There's no noise reduction. There's no noise blanking. This radio just sends raw data out to the serial port and we get it on the computer, which is kind of good for WSJT-X because that's how you run WSJT-X is with all of the filtering and notching and limiting and so on turned off. Next website I'm going to bring up is PSK Reporter. I'm going to put down all bands, all signals sent and received by the call sign of KM9G, put in your own call sign, using FT8 in the last 15 minutes. Now that we've got our website up in the background, let's go over to WSJT-X and start making happy. I'm going to make sure that TX6 is selected. I'm going to choose Enable Transmit. And after this first 15-second period goes by, it'll be my turn. You can hear the radio click on and start transmitting, and make sure that you see this vertical stripe on your display, which indicates that you're actually sending data out. It is possible for your radio to click on and not send that out because you're in USB mode and not U-D mode. Now that we've sent some signals, let's go check the map. Hey, we've got some traffic. Some people have heard us. And after a couple of rounds, a couple more people have heard us. I love PSK Reporter because it gives you this proof that your signal is getting out. Let's see if we can fish for a contact. All right, we're getting somebody now. All right, under TX power, I'm going to put down 5 watts, tell it to retain that. I'm going to tell it it's the G106 radio in my DX commander antenna. I'm going to tell it to retain that, so it'll be there for all future contacts I make. This was KI5RQG, and we sent a -16 and received a -17, and they are in EM34, which is probably somewhere in Texas. I have a good pipeline to Texas from here. I'm going to say okay. I'm going to get back to it. Now that we have our signals coming in, one of the things that we need to worry about is this DT. This DT is delta time. You can see this one here is 1.1. That's pretty far off. We're never going to make a contact with them. But most of these are coming in at 0.1. So that's 1/10 of a second. I don't know if it's seconds or not, but it's 1/10 off. And 0.1, 0.2 are good enough to get the job done. What do we do if they're way off and it's our fault? We need to go check our own time. So I'm going to pull up my favorite website here, which is time.is. If you go to time.is, it'll tell you your time. This is where my internet service provider is, so close enough to me. It's a town down the street. And it's telling me 2:55:25 p.m. and my time is exact. If your time is not exact, you can set the clock on your computer or you can install a time synchronization software that will set the time automatically. My time's exact. I'm good to go. All right, that is the Zygo G106 on FT8. really, really, really easy because this radio has near zero features. Might be a good thing. I don't know. It got the job done. I've been making a lot of contacts. I've got about 40 contacts in, and this thing, it's warm, but it's not shockingly hot like the G90 or the Zygo X6100 gets. So I think they've made some progress on this. There's a nice huge ground plane on the circuit board, and there's a thick slab of aluminum right in the center of this radiator. There's a thick slab of aluminum right in the center of this radio that will dissipate the heat out of the radio, and it's doing a great job. The radio is not hot at all, and I think it's good to go. There will be a link in the description down below where you can get this DE19 or this Zygo G106 radio with $15 off. There is a video right over here I think you will enjoy next. Thanks for being awesome. I'll be over there waiting for you.